This show is brought to you in part by viewers like you who joined a Patreon or become YouTube members. Thank you. And if you could, hit the like button and subscribe if you want more Browns-focused content. Are Shedeur Sanders fans already furious with the Cleveland Browns? The short answer is no. The long answer is no, but we really should talk about it because this is the interesting thing that's been going on, right? So the controversy right now after OTAs is something that anybody who is paying attention or has paid attention or has covered this team for a number of years told everybody was going to happen. Not just me, but multiple people told everybody it was going to happen. It happened, and now people are upset. They're doing the shock Pikachu. But what has happened is that Shedeur Sanders didn't get first-team reps in OTAs. Now, I remember saying something along the lines of Shedeur Sanders is most likely not going to get first-team reps, and he probably won't until some point in the middle of training camp. And that's not a surprise because it doesn't seem like the Browns want to rush this thing with Shedeur Sanders, which is ultimately good for him, right? But some people have taken the fact that the Browns aren't giving Shedeur first-team reps as some kind of handicap that they're giving him in this quarterback competition, and they're equating this with the fact that the Browns, in their mind, will never give Shedeur Sanders a fair shot. That's what's going on here, right? They don't think Shedeur is ever going to get a fair shot in Cleveland because he didn't get first-team reps in OTAs. The first thing to remember is the quarterback competition has not really started yet. They're setting the ground for the quarterback competition, but let's be real. Ain't no competition in football starts, especially in the NFL, till you put pads on. And honestly, there's really no competition that really starts in the NFL until you put pads on and play another team. Like, there's no winning the competition in June. There's no winning the competition in July. You only win the competition once you start going up against other teams. Everything else is just groundwork. And that's what this was. So people acting as if like this quarterback competition has already gotten started and Shedeur is being held. That's just not how it's going. They're setting the groundwork. They're getting information to see, hey, who do we want to see in what situations during camp? Joint practices come around. Who do we need to see a lot of reps from? When do we want to give certain guys reps with ones? Do we want to have it on public days? They're setting the framework for what will be the competition. But the competition does not start until training camp. And some people are upset about this because they either don't want to understand that or they choose to not understand that, or they just like simply don't know how the NFL works, right? And they think it's college and that this is spring ball and, in spring ball in college, you would be competing for the spot, but this isn't college. The things operate very differently in the NFL. Maybe that's what's going on here, right? But I don't want to paint with a broad brush and say all Shedeur fans are being ridiculous. I just think it's the very online Shedeur fans that have been caught with some of the more strange behavior you've seen, some of the more strange comments you've seen, but that's a very small fraction of that entire fan base. Most Shedeur fans are like guest of the show, friend of the show, Kyron Samuels, who's very reasonable about Shedeur Sanders and very excited about Shedeur Sanders, right? Most Shedeur fans are like Corey Kennan. Corey Kennan still pounded the drum for Shedeur Sanders as QB1 in this draft. As late as like right before the draft. Still very reasonable about Shedeur Sanders' understanding of where everything is. There are a lot of people in my life that I've grown up with that are Browns fans, and they want to know what's going on with Shedeur every time I talk to them, and they're excited about Shedeur. I'm excited about Shedeur. But if you know what the schedule, what the schedule of the offseason is like, you know that you can't really tell much right now. But we're all excited to see what he does in training camp. And I think that's what most Shedeur fans are. Most Shedeur fans aren't commenting on the internet. Most Shedeur fans are living actual lives, touching grass, talking to real people that they know face to face, right? So
don't go to the stadium and have a chip on your shoulder because you see somebody in a Shedeur Sanders jersey and assume they're going to act like the dude in the comment section you got in a 4-day brawl with on Twitter. Because that's not real life, right? Most Shedeur Sanders fans understand that this is going to take a little time and that this is a good thing, right? There are some who are going to want to feed into conspiracy theories and all of that, and there will be people willing to feed these guys with goofy conspiracy theories because there's an audience for it online. There's always going to be an audience for nonsense online. But the truth is, if the Browns were the team that were trying to sabotage Shedeur Sanders like some people are saying, they would be doing everything they can to rush this kid out early. Because that would be setting up Shedeur Sanders for failure, right? If the Browns wanted to set up Shedeur Sanders for failure, they'd be rushing him on the field. You know who's the quarterback that I think they're going to be like, that they're going to set up for failure? It's Dillon Gabriel. Because I think they're really leaning on Dillon Gabriel's experience. They're allowing him to, advance faster and faster to see what he has. And I think they're going to do similar to Dillon Gabriel, what they did to DTR, which is play him way too early. And he's going to get exposed and blown up by a defense that knows better. Now, if you're a Sanders fan, you want to protect him from this. I know some Sanders fans seem to think that Shedeur Sanders is incapable of looking bad in the NFL. But I promise you, nobody is incapable of looking bad in the NFL. Also, let's look at the first few games of the season. Week 1, you play the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, their defense isn't amazing, admittedly. But the Cincinnati Bengals still are one of the tougher teams to beat in the NFL. Week 2, you play the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. That's not a place you want to send a rookie on their second game. Week 3, Green Bay. It's not a game you want to send a rookie on. Week 4, at Detroit, one of the most ferocious defenses in the NFL. Probably don't want to do that. And in week 5, you play the Vikings. Week 6, you play Pittsburgh. Do you really want Shedeur Sanders to go through that in the first 6 weeks of the season? Everybody who's upset that he didn't get first-team reps in OTAs, presumably because you have a dream of Shedeur Sanders starting the season. Do you really want to see a world where Shedeur Sanders is 1-5 and people are blaming him for being 1-5, and then we put in Dillon Gabriel, and then that's it for Shedeur until somebody gets hurt? Is that really what we want to do? That's not what I want to do. I want Shedeur to get as much as a fair shot as possible to prove that he could be something in the NFL. And the truth is, that probably means not playing till after the bye week. Maybe that Patriots game or that Dolphins game before the bye week, but certainly the first 6 weeks of the season. Somebody else can take that, right? You should want Kenny Pickett to take that, or Joe Flacco or Dillon Gabriel to take that, because that's a murderous row. Look at those defenses. Cincinnati, not a good defense, but if they get something worked out with Trey Henderson before the year, that's the number 1 sack guy last year on that defense. The Ravens are a ferocious defense with some really good players like Kyle Hamilton. The Green Bay Packers, they're a solid defense. They're not an amazing one, but they're a consistent playoff team in the NFC. And then you play Detroit, who's one of the best defenses in football. And last year, the best defense in football was the Vikings, and that's who you play in London. And then you play the Steelers in Pittsburgh after you go to London. Why do you want a rookie to play those 6 weeks? Somebody's got to answer this question to me eventually. Everybody pounding the table, going on TV, talking about, we got to play the rookie week 1. Why? Why do you want a rookie to play that? Dude, I wouldn't send rookie year Cam Newton out there. I wouldn't send rookie year Andrew Luck out there. These are some of the greatest prospects of all time. This is no slight to Shedeur. This is no slight to Dillon Gabriel. You just don't want to send a rookie out there for any of that. The Browns are aware of that. That's their schedule. They're not sending a rookie out there. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Especially a rookie drafted in the 3rd or 5th round. And you know what? Every single one of these Sanders fans who are crying conspiracy because Sanders isn't getting the opportunity to get the first team reps, whether that's actually happening or not. If the Browns sent Shedeur Sanders out there and he got blown up week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, do you know what they would be saying? they would be calling the Browns a trash organization for throwing Shedeur Sanders out there way too early, that they should have given him time. But yet they call anybody who says, hey, maybe we want to slow this down, maybe we want to have Shedeur play later in the season, a Shedeur Sanders hater. There are some very unserious people about this whole thing, but I don't think that that's most of the people here. I think most people, if you explain to them that's what the first 6 weeks of the season looks like to the Cleveland Browns, will absolutely understand why you don't want to rush Shedeur Sanders out there week 1. Like, even if he has unless he has such an amazing camp that it's undeniable and you have to play him week 1, man, I'm waiting till week 7. Because why? Why throw somebody out there in front of a murderer's row for the first 7 weeks of the season, unless you legitimately think that Shedeur Sanders is such a good quarterback in camp that we actually got a chance to make the playoffs? If you think we got a chance to make the playoffs, we got like that level of quarterback play coming up, okay, let them go through the 6 games. But unless you think that's going to happen, which is very unlikely, like a situation like that comes around rarely. Like, we're talking about Jaden Daniels level quarterback play, CJ Stroud level quarterback play. These were top 3 picks in their draft classes. Shedeur Sanders, even the people who liked him, couldn't justify taking him in the top 3. He's just not that level of prospect. It's not likely that that's what he's going to look like by the end of camp. Odds are he's going to look like a rookie. He's going to have some really good moments. He's going to have some bad moments, but you're going to want to wait. I just don't see the need or the reason to rush this at all. I'll say this again, just so people are clear. The first 6 games of the season are Cincinnati, at Baltimore, Green Bay, at Detroit, the Minnesota Vikings in London, and then you come back home the week after and you play the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. And look, the Steelers got a lot of issues on offense. That defense ain't the problem. They just drafted Deron Harmon. They got Cam Hayward still. It'd be early in the season, so it don't even matter that Cam old. We know how the Steelers do in Cleveland, right? And then also they got TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith coming off the edge with Nick Herbig. Like, we should probably let them games go, right? If you really think Shedeur could be a franchise quarterback, I don't see the reason that you got to rush it, right? If you think that the Browns got a gem, if you think that Shedeur is the best quarterback in this draft class, if you think that Shedeur is going to be a franchise guy, and you're unwavering in that faith, then there's no reason to rush it. There's really no reason to rush it. And I will continue to be on this train. There's no reason to rush Shedeur Sanders out there. Because what I don't want to see is Shedeur Sanders look good in training camp like DTR did his rookie year. And then the Browns throw him out there against Baltimore and his confidence never rebounds from that. Now, I think Shedeur is a fair bit more confident than Dorian Thompson-Robinson ever was. But Dorian Thompson-Robinson didn't really lack that much confidence. You know, but Baltimore took that shit right out of him. Hey, man. It's tough to be a quarterback in the NFL. It's tougher to be a quarterback in the rookie year in the NFL. And it's tougher. Now, that's not a word. It's not even a proper conjunction of it. But that's the word. That's the phrase that I'm going with. Tougher to be a quarterback who's a rookie in the AFC North when you're playing that murderer's row of defenses. We're talking about all 3 division teams. We're going to be super familiar with what you do. And then we're talking